Oh, hello. As you can see, I've got my thinking cap on, which means we're going to speculate wildly about the future of Kill Team. First, a few ground rules about the approach we're taking today. So, I've done prognostication videos before where I try and predict what's coming in the future. They're usually quite popular, and often I ask the question, what 40k armies still need kill teams? Well, we know the answer to that question. We got the World Eaters, Tyranids, the Grey Knights, the Custodes, and the Death Guard. We're not going to predict those things today. I think loosely, most of those, I mean, obviously, World Eaters just repack one of their really awesome current new things with an upgrade sprue. Tyranids are going to get a big awesome new release in 10th edition. Either one of their new things will come in a kill team set, or one of their things can get repacked with kill team, or they could even get a PDF release. So some of the stuff from the 10th edition starter set's got a kill team. Grey Knights, I think they could just about be done with an upgrade sprue. They're a little bit on the small side though. Custodes, you could easily do that with an upgrade sprue. I would favour the Sisters of Silence, and Death Guard certainly would be an upgrade sprue team as well. We're not asking the question either of what concepts could Games Workshop add to Kill Team. We know that sometimes Games Workshop use their kind of artisanal kill team to introduce brand new concepts to us. Things like the Navy Breaches, the Adeptus Arbites, the Corsairs, the Bloodied, most teams, not all of them, but most teams that they add that are brand new kits, the Beastmen obviously, are, brand new ideas and things that they could add to Kill Team. And sort of spitballing about those kind of teams can be fun too. I'm fond of the Adeptus Administratum Tithing Squad. I think that definitely has a place in the range. Eldar Exodites, Zotes, the Last Chances, which people don't realise were originally in a novel called Kill Team that I've put on the side here, okay? Or Spindle Drones, which is a popular idea on our Discord that comes up from time to time as a little bit of a meme. No, today we're focusing on a third angle. We're getting 10th edition 40k, and when they roll out the 40k codexes, there's generally two kinds of releases that a codex gets. You either get the full, like Eldar did recently, you get like a full new range release with loads of new plastic kits and a new book, or you get a book and maybe a character, right, as a token model release. And in the start of a new edition, I think there's going to be a lot of releases that are like a book and a character. But what they can do with Kill Team, as they did with Kroot especially, is that they can fill little holes in ranges where maybe they don't need a whole army refresh. They just need a plastic kit or two here and there. And that's what we're going to look at today. So really, it's kind of a 40k video, I guess. You could take this as what units in 40k most need an upgrade, and maybe I would get more views if it was titled that. But I'm a kill team channel, so we're viewing this through the lens of what would be a good kill team. So let's get into it and let's have a little trip down memory lane and look at some of the oldest figures that are still in codexes today. So my first suggestion is Clesiarchy Weirdos. So if you play Sisters of Battle as I do, you'll know that there's just a small cadre of units that are in Finecast or White Metal that were not updated. Essentially, it's all of the non-Sisters stuff. Well, not quite all of it, because we got Penitent Engines and we got Arcoflagellants, but everything else that was kind of the Ecclesiarchy weirdness didn't get an upgrade. So you've got the Preachers, you've got Missionaries, we've got Death Cultists, and we've got Crusaders. Now, there did used to be a unit in 40k called the Clesiarchy Warband. It was an option in one of the Sisters of Battle White Dwarf lists. So I could see this packaged together as a kill team with a senior priest leading the kill team, and then you'd have a balance of shield guys and more kind of damaging assaulty guys. And then they'd probably have to add in some new element there, some kind of Fratricus Militer element where you could have some kind of church-aligned men with guns to make it have a little bit of range in it, maybe. But you could do it as an entirely combat-based kill team as well. Okay, so that's my first idea. And then if we're going to have Clesiarchy Weirdos, we also need to mention Inquisition weirdos. Now, I know people have been rumouring an Inquisition team for a long time because lore-wise it just seems to fit. It's worth saying, though, these models also do need plastic counterparts. There are lots of plastic named Inquisitors, loads and loads of them now in the range. But there isn't like a good plastic generic Inquisitor for people that want to forge their own narrative and have their own guy. Inquisitorial Acolytes, you can't even buy this model anymore. I think Inquisitorial Acolytes could be the backbone of this team, and they could be totally new and redesigned, and they could have your lasguns or your bolters, and then special and heavy weapons, whatever you wanted to have. Jacaro, I'd love to see a plastic Jacaro, okay, as part of the team. And Demon Hosts. Demon Hosts are a really cool part of the lore. And, these models in metal go for a lot on eBay whenever they pop up. They're really popular. It'd be great to see a plastic Demon Host or two as well. So Inquisition weirdos is definitely a thing. I think we have a decent chance of getting some kind of focus on the Inquisition. A lot of the early kind of spoilers that have come out for the Lion book that goes on pre-order today have mentioned how the end of the book is kind of told by Inquisitor courtiers, and so maybe he gets a plastic model and we get some Inquisitorial henchmen plastics, and maybe that ties in with Kill Team and maybe it doesn't, but it is another gap in the 40k range that could do with being filled. Katachan Jungle Fighters. So this is one of the 2 plastic entries on this list, and you're like, but Phil, you said you was going to do things that needed plastic kits. Well, these are a plastic kit. They're a plastic kit though from 1998. Now that quite a long time ago. In 1998, I was starting secondary school. Okay. Now I know folks don't want another Imperial Guard team, and for lots of reasons, these wouldn't necessarily be my first choice of a team to pick up. I think maybe it's one of the weakest IPs for Guard regiments, but they don't seem to want to abandon Katachans. They've given them a brand new data sheet in the new Guard Codex. I think a plastic Katachan-based kill team could well be something that comes, because the age of these miniatures, they're just embarrassing. I think I'm right in saying that they're probably the oldest. They're certainly the oldest plastic models that still represent a current data sheet that you can buy on the Games Workshop site. They really do need an update, and yeah, you could see them worked up into a full-on kill team. The other plastic entry on the list is Space Marine Scouts. Now, these aren't quite the same vintage as the Katachans. They're from 2005, but they will be old enough to vote in November. They have giant heads and no necks. They just look dumb. They really fit the kill team theme, obviously, because they are a squad of infiltration specialists. They have a mix of weaponry. You can have the bolter, you can have the shotgun, you can have heavy bolters, missile launchers, sniper rifles, bolt pistols, and chainswords. So you've got a decent mix there in the lore. It'd be interesting to see how they drive difference between scouts and Phobos Marines. I guess scouts would be a little worse. Maybe you get a squad of 8 of them, right? Something like that. Be really interesting to see Primaris scouts. And I say Primaris scouts. As we've seen with the Terminators, they wouldn't be called Primaris scouts. They'd just be, these are scouts. They can be turned into any kind of Space Marine, but they would be taller and more well proportioned, like the Black Templar initiates that we saw. I think it's inevitable that we're going to get a new Space Marine Scout box. Will it be for Kill Team, or will it just be a 40k release? I don't know. But I do think it seems inevitable that new Space Marine Scouts are on the way within the next couple of years. Noise Marines. Now, I'm cheating because Noise Marines aren't actually... I don't think they're going to get a Kill Team for a long time. But I basically had nothing. Like, the Chaos range is pretty well... There's no really old, horrible kits in any of the Chaos ranges now. Everything looks more or less okay. Except for Noise Marines. Noise Marines, for anyone that isn't aware of the history, were originally a metal upgrade set for the plastic Chaos Space Marine bodies. Now, the plastic Chaos Space Marines have been updated twice since the upgrade pack was made, and the metal upgrade pack has been remastered into Citadel Finecast, which means it's horrible. These are probably the worst miniatures still legal in 40k because they're not actually miniatures. They don't actually work. You can't really put them together without converting them. The arms are too short for the bodies, and it's generally just a waste of everybody's time. Now, I don't actually think these will show up in 40 as a kill team until they get worked up into a full new 40k army, and then once that work's been done, they may then get made into a kill team. As a thing with an upgrade sprue, in the same way that we've seen with the Leagues of Votann, right? They didn't get launched as a kill team, but they did eventually get a kill team, or they will do in a couple of weeks when the next box is out, right? You've been waiting for this slide, Eldar players. Most Eldar Aspect Warriors. So, 4 units on one slide. We've got the Warp Spiders, we've got the Super Hawks, the Striking Scorpions, and the Fire Dragons. I don't actually think these would all make good kill teams. Obviously, I think Fire Dragons would be a weird thing. They'd be powerful. They'd be a weird thing to include in kill team. But you could have all of these. If you want to do a Season of Eldar, these could be the artisanal teams in all 4 boxes. Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen. I have heard 2 different rumours about Eldar coming in the next season of Kill Team. One was just chatting to somebody who would know what was coming down the pipe, who kind of insinuated that there were more Eldar teams coming in Season 3. Now, that could have been talking about Craftworld Eldar. It could have been talking about Dark Eldar. Very unclear. And then the second conversation I had with somebody else, where they had heard that literally Striking Scorpions and Warp Spiders were both coming in Season 3. Now, that's some obvious wish listing. If somebody's done the same thoughts that I have about what needs to come for 40k, you could easily come to the conclusion that Striking Scorpions or Warp Spiders will be on the way. I think Striking Scorpions are the obvious choice in many ways because they are kind of suited to that sort of role. Warp Spiders could be really interesting because they could have their short-range teleport as the primary way they move, so they could effectively have... imagine them on Into the Dark not having to open doors because they can kind of just teleport shunt through the doors and stuff. I don't know whether they'd do that, but that'd be kind of cool. The problem I have with both of these teams is everything we know about them in 40k, they're all identically equipped. So it'll be interesting to see how they carve out space for the kill team style specialists if they decided to go down the road of any of these teams as an actual kill team. Dark Eldar Zoo. So you're going to see this made-to-order icon on the next couple of slides because they've recently put up all the things in the Dark Eldar range that need an update have gone on made-to-order. I think going up on made-to-order I'm recording this at 9:30, so in about half an hour. I don't know if that means that their replacement is here soon or whether they're being removed from the range because... they're not going to get data sheets in the indexes. I don't know. But as things stand at the moment, there are a couple of holes in the Dark Eldar range that could do with being filled. I guess you could have a Dark Eldar Zoo kill team. It's a little bit unlikely, basically looking at a Beastmaster as your leader, and then a collection of different Gribblies as your kill team. It'd be a bit gimmicky. It would allow you to play around with a very fast kill team that had a lot of movement speed. It'd be kind of like Whoop's old Pokemon. I don't know if they'd do it. I don't know if it'd be any good. But it could be a thing where, you got your Beastmaster, and then you got your Clawed Fiends as big Ogryn-type bruisers. And then, you've got your Chimera, your mid-tier, and a couple of Razorwing Flocks as really fast, lightweight harassment things. I don't know, but it's possible. Mandrakes. I've talked about Mandrakes before. Heavily rumoured that that we thought we were going to get Mandrakes as our Dark Eldar team. Turned out to be Hand of the Archon instead, but I still think Mandrakes will make a good team. They kind of have the same problem as the Aspect Warriors do, in that as far as we know from 40k, they're all identically equipped, so it's quite hard to see how they would get the variety in there for the different specialists, but we do need plastic Mandrakes, and they are cool, and they do fit the lore as something that would show up kind of separately to an army on its own and take part in a kill team style mission. Court of the Archon, and the last one for Dark Eldar, okay. So on one level I don't think this makes a lot of sense, but on the other hand I can kind of see it. If you're going to have Rogue Traders and Inquisitorial Warbands and Clesiarchy Warbands. This is the only real Xenos equivalent to that kind of archetype that we've seen with the Rogue Trader team, where you'd have, you throw in a plastic Archon into the kit. It could be the same plastic Archon, in the same way the Necron's just got an existing character. It could be the same plastic Archon, has a really powerful centerpiece model, and then have characters around him that are less powerful and quite diverse, and it would let you have plastic versions of all the things you see on the screen here. The Lamian, the Slith, the Urgul, and the other one whose name I can't even remember. But, they all need plastic kits, and you could have 2 or 3 of each of those different things. That would look quite cool, I could see that, actually. Especially if they go for their kind of theme for this season. Like, if you have the Clesiarchy team and the Inquisition team and the Court of the Archon all in the same season. And it was a bit of a theme. Like, heroes with retinues was kind of a theme. I don't know, maybe. And the last one, and I bet nobody's seen this coming, Vespin Stingwings. So who'd remember that Vespin Stingwings exist? I was listening to someone the other day. Who was it? I was listening to somebody on YouTube, and they were talking about how they wanted to see more Tau Auxiliary stuff, and they were naming all these different alien races from the fluff that could appear as Tau Auxiliary units, and they completely forgot that Vespin Stingwings existed, right? I don't think they're popular because the models look absolutely arse. Like, these models are some of the worst looking models that Games Workshop ever produced. But I will put it to you that actually the concept is really cool. Like, if you went back to the concept art for these and redeveloped them as a Danite plastic kit, actually they could look really good. They just look really bad because of how static they are and how their sort of rifleman pose doesn't really work with their airborne assault nature, and they just need a little bit of a creative rework. But I think they can make a really good kill team. And the nice thing about these is nobody cares about Vespin Stingwings, so you could invent a whole pile of extra, specialists for them for kill team. And people will just be like, yeah, cool, I don't care, that's not already a thing in the lore, that's a thing now, and I like it. So, Vespin Stingwing kill team would be a really good pick, right? And it would just complete the Tau range, get them all nice and plastic. That's it. Those are my thoughts. Now, obviously, those are far. Let's have a look. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 possibilities there. Obviously, we're not going to see all 13 of those teams in a season of Kill Team. We'd see at most 4, right? That's the number of the Artisanal, right? As distinct from Bespoke. Well, Bespoke is any kill team that's not a compendium kill team. But an Artisanal team is a team that is a whole new plastic kit. So most we get 4. Do you think any of the things on this list, in this PowerPoint, are going to hit that list of 4 for next season? I'm sure I've missed some. Now, there are some things I didn't consider. So I didn't consider anything in the Tyranid range, just because we know Tyranids are getting a full-on range update and refresh like Necrons did at the start of 9th edition. So going through and pulling out, these are 4 or 5 really old as balls Tyranids units seems redundant, frankly. I also didn't find much for the Orcs. Orc Tank Busters need a new kit, but I just didn't think that Tank Busters fitted the theme of Kill Team, right? Because they're an anti-vehicle unit. But I have a bit of a blind spot for Orcs, so let me know if you're an Orcs player, if there's anything that Orcs have that's an infantry squad that would suit Kill Team that's really old. I did think about including Rebel Grots, but I think that's wishlisting, right? Plus, the Gretchen kit is plastic, and it is quite old, but it stands up, I think. Do you think any of these are likely? Oh, sorry, I should say, some of these might disappear. I don't want to go on with Dark Eldar, but it's possible that some of these units here disappear from 40k, like they don't get datasheets in the indexes. So we'll be able to see when 40k releases, these units that still get data cards in the indexes, that will help us zero in on things that might get Kill Team releases, I would think. Do you think that any of these things are particularly likely? Like, which of the things that I've gone through seem most likely to you? And as a separate question, which of the things that I've just gone through do you think we're actually going to see? So which ones do you want? Which ones do you think? Which ones do you want? And which ones do you think Games Workshop will do? Okay. And finally, a plea to engage the algorithm. I'm back on the content train now. I'm more or less over my illness, so I am aware that I don't quite sound myself. I do keep coughing occasionally, but I'm more or less over it. So the content is coming thick and fast at the moment. So please do reward me by commenting, by clicking like, by subscribing, and by potentially considering channel membership, by joining the Discord, and you'll find all the links and things in the description once you expand the description. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great weekend. Cheery bye.